Hey everyone, today we're thinking about what needs to change, if anything. Let each of you lead the life that the Lord has assigned, to which God called you. This is my rule in all the churches. Was anyone at their time of their call already circumcised? Let him not seek to remove the marks of circumcision. Was anyone at the time of his call uncircumcised? Let him not seek circumcision. Circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing, but obeying the commandments of God is everything. Let each of you remain in the condition in which you were called. Were you a slave when you were called? Don't be concerned about it. Even if you can gain your freedom, make the most of it. For whoever was called in the Lord as a slave is a freed person belonging to the Lord, just as whoever was free when called is a slave belonging to Christ. You were bought with a price. Do not become slaves of humans. In whatever condition you were called, brothers and sisters, there remain with God. So what do you think has to change before you can serve God fully? Right? If I had a better, more fulfilling job, maybe when I finish school or when the kids are grown, or just when things settle down, which I know we've been saying for at least 3 years now, the general rule that Paul is giving us here is that you don't have to change your social situation. You're already with God. You can already be God's person where you're at. If God calls you when you're married or single or a slave or a Gentile, you don't have to change that status in order to be holy. Now, as Paul's working through this chapter, it seems like he's kind of paralleling Galatians 3:28, where he says that there's no Jew or Gentile, slave or free, man and woman. That foundational teaching actually influences a lot of what's going on in this letter. It seems pretty clear that he had already taught that to them. And it's pretty shocking the way that he is kind of re-evaluating, reinterpreting everything in light of Christ. For a Jewish man to say circumcision is nothing, that's pretty crazy. And what's especially crazy is that circumcision is a commandment of God. And so he's reinterpreting what matters. No status or identity marker, whatever it may be, actually matters when it comes to following God's command to love God and love your neighbor. That's the only command that really matters. Now, what he says about slavery is maybe it's a little troubling, I think, when, especially if taking out of context or thinking in our context, our situation, that maybe he's speaking a little bit from privilege to say, oh, don't be concerned about being a slave. But I think it is helpful where he says that, if there's some change that does enable you to serve God better, then go for it. But the point is, it's not necessary in the sense of I can't be who God wants me to be until this changes. It's true, your spiritual life is going to look different at different phases, at different places in life, but it never has to wait. There will always be something that could make your life, your service to God better or easier. But how can you be who God has called you to be right here and right now?